So lie down as if preparing for a bridge with your knees bent and your feet planted.
Here, mommy, help me.
And then I want you to press your feet down to the earth. That's a great corresponding lift as the tailbone carves up towards the ceiling, and you can lift the hips up and plant the block underneath the hips. A wide way, a skinny way. Feel through it and just place this block in the way that feels best for you. I think I'm going to pull you to the center row.
Am I blocking you again?
It's too bad. I'm sorry. So I am going to have you go right between Shannon. Can you make that happen? Have her come in here, and then we're so good. All right, hold here. You're great there. If that's okay for you.
I'm yanking my mat everybody.
I want to spray for breathing.
Thank you. Awesome. So walk your feet sitting bone distance, which if you don't know what your hip joint distance is, it's not as wide as your hips. It's about 2 fist distance apart. You can touch your feet together, widen the heels a bit with the big toe mounds there, something that you start to feel a little bit of resistance, and then widen the feet about that much too. You feel into it. Okay, great, Tracy, that's perfect. Okay, that's in balance, I mean. Not perfect. But that's perfect, you know? Feeling your wild balance is great. We're going to learn about the golden egg. So if you're a backbender, you might take it a little higher, but you might also take it lower, so you can really feel a little bit more than you're stretching. You can get deep into the belly. I want you to take a deep inhale through the lungs and let that breath slide from the top of the lungs towards the bottom of the ribs as the ribs flare wide. And you can let the belly release a bit. So drop the abdominal cavity down and let the breath pour in. And on the exhale, I want you to squeeze the low abdominals, side waist. Press that breath out from the bottom to the top. So we learned this last night, many of us in the Breath and Bandhas workshop. The way that we breathe anatomically is we inhale and the breath pours in the top to the bottom of the lungs and all sides around. And we can relax out the abdominals enough, especially when we're here and we don't need as much spinal support, to let the ribs open and widen and let the lungs and breathing diaphragm drop down on the inhale. And on the exhale, we can squeeze from the root of that abdominal balloon and press the top of it then up into the diaphragm as the diaphragm rises and presses all the air out. So we inhale from top to bottom, we exhale from bottom to top. We do all sorts of funky breaths in yoga that might make you think we breathe a different way, but those are for other reasons, to relax areas or bring energy to areas. It's not the way that you actually breathe. So it's good to start with reality and then begin to, from reality, create the magic. All right. The golden egg is Mula Bandha, or the root lift. It is the source, one source of support for your sacrum and your spine. The root of your spine. It helps you create axial extension, which is a lengthening through the spine. It helps you engage and ignite energy at the belly. It helps you bring awareness to your deep core self. It helps you stay healthy in the digestive tract. And it helps you gain a ton of strength in your poses. So the golden egg at the pelvic diaphragm is not the pelvic floor muscles. It's not the more superficial muscles where we would say it's as if you have to go to the bathroom and you're stopping the flow. That's an outer squeeze. We don't want to squeeze that all the time as our primary Mula Bandha, or we can literally become anal retentive on every level. That's not cute. Okay, so what we want to do instead is let there be a little breathing room there, and instead locate Mula Bandha deeper inside. So envision that you have a heavy metal golden egg resting at the base of your pelvis, higher than the outer perineum, higher than those outer muscles. Without squeezing the outer muscles so much, can you hug around the golden egg from the muscles ringing the inside of your pelvic bones? And then lift that golden egg up behind the navel. This is a more subtle muscular movement. Just like any inner conversation, it's quieter but more powerful than only squeezing and working the more obvious outer body. If you can even find a flutter of that, that's great. These are muscles that need to be communicated with and built. If you are just listening inside and trying to do this, that's an inner inquiry, and that's great too. Now, as you inhale, you want to let that golden egg drop back down towards the base of the pelvis a bit, so you can bring breath down deeper, so you can relax the hip joints and the pelvic floor area. And when you exhale, you want to begin the exhale by hugging the golden egg up a little bit more. About 25% of your effort or so, it's possible. So there's not a grip, it's a powerful but gentle activation and release. When you're in your active poses and your spine needs to be supported, you don't want to let the golden egg just totally drop out of the belly open. You want to keep a little tone there all the time, so you pulse higher and then you drop it almost back down, but not quite. Good. Reach your arms overhead. Take a full inhale. Let the breath pour into the body. Relax the golden egg a little bit more. Breathe all the way down deep. And then exhale, squeeze the golden egg and press the air out. Let gravity help you. Good. And one more time. Inhale fully through the nose. This time exhale through the mouth. Just sigh. Bring your hands back down towards your hips on the floor. Press everything that's down deeper. And curl the tailbone higher. So as you lift the hips, you can think of hugging the golden egg to help the spine stay safe and stable, the low back curve to stay natural as you lift up and support yourself from foundation and center. And remove the block. Now, as you exhale, slowly roll down on your spine, inch by inch by inch. Very good. Begin to draw the knees towards your chest. Cover your kneecaps with your palms and just circle one way and then the other. As you do this, if you can cover your kneecaps with your palms, so your fingers wrap over the kneecaps and point towards your feet, you can actually press your thighs, your femur bones, down from kneecap towards the sit bone in that line and deepen the legs down into the hip sockets and open some of that belly energy for you to use. Goodness. All right. Now slowly begin to rock and roll. Take a few rock and rolls on the spine. Just warming and massaging the long muscles of the back. And once you come up, next couple or so, I want you to meet me here in an easy seat.